Hi all, welcome to the League SBC guide for December, January, if you want to call it that way. So hopefully you find this useful. As always guys, we cover all the leagues that potentially could be featured with a team example as always, which we like to cover. So if you can smash links, be awesome. Sub to the channel if you're new, follow me on Twitter at the Legend. All the links are down below for playlists in the channel and social media links as always. So this is the second upload of the day guys, no Footmas SBCs. So Southampton is the first example that I have opted for. One of the big leagues is going to happen. I know everyone is assuming, oh, Calcioli seems to stand out, but La Liga has a good shout, EPL has a good shout, and same does the Bundesliga. So logically it seems best to cover all four leagues. But I'm not 100% sure for rating. I'm thinking like that 76 rating seems about logical. Plenty standard goals. I've done a 4-3-1-2 because there's no right mids. I'm thinking, do they do like a 4-3-1-2 or I believe 3-4-3 is a formation that seems to be highlighted when you check their formations. But 11 players, 95k. I'm thinking 8 to 12k for cost won't be too bad really. Mains, fairly straightforward one as well. I'm thinking 74 rated because there's not too many high rated players in the team. Adler seems to be about the highest rated for what I gather. Like left backs, you've got Brzezinski, Bosman, and someone else that's a bronze or silver. There's a few bronze and silvers in most of the like Bundesliga teams, especially. Muto is the only gold forward for what I gather, and then you've got like Kodro. But it's a fairly cheap team. Ostinali's not too bad either. It's just a case of buying up the players, and I'm thinking 8 to 12k is roughly what it's going to cost you to set you back to do these teams. From a La Liga example, we've gone for Leganes because that seems to be relatively cheap just now to build. Everyone seems to work out around 400 coins to buy if you want to buy them, so it's not too bad. Right backs, you've got 3 silvers, they're all the same rating, but they're all so contrasting in prices, which is quite interesting. So be aware guys, people may start to play about with prices if La Liga was to, like Leganes, when it goes live, the right backs for example would be options. You can easily, and I can go away with Elzar as a cheaper option up top over a striker, because you've got the strikers that are also quite expensive. From a J League perspective, we have got the option of Kashima Antlers. J Leagues, there's tons of teams, it's like 18 teams, but all fairly cheap. Most of the bronze and silvers you can buy for like 150, Podolski you can buy for 650, Kiyotaki for 350, 400. It's just a case of being pretty patient, nabbing what you can, and honestly you'll find fairly straightforward. If it was me personally, this is one league I would like to cover. If it's SBC Cristiano or Kobayashi because they're top goal scorer or top assists, both are very appealing cards. For my personal opinion, like Kobayashi would probably go to like an 86 due to his inform, and Cristiano would be an 84. Then with Hibs, you've got fairly cheap, fairly straightforward. My feeling is this could be a route that could have players that are brick slots, because there's only 16 players of Hibs in FIFA 18 in Ultimate Team. My feeling is this would be an expensive route, and it actually would be quite expensive. Like when the hype kicks in, it would go up a fair ton. Same for like Aberdeen and a couple of other teams. I think they're not like tons and tons of players, so you've got to be fully aware that it's going to be quite expensive initially, depending on what people do, because there'll be people that will price fix players, especially like maybe say the rares for example, like Whitaker, Slivka, Big Davy, etc. Then you've got the Udinese example. Honestly, this is one of the cheap and easy ones in my opinion, like Fofana, Vidmar, Halfredson, Jankto. They're not too expensive in all honesty. I think I've got a couple of them still sitting on transfer list that are packed, that are duplicates, which is unbelievable. It seems to be one of the more common teams that I think I've packed this year, loosely, especially Jankto. I think I've packed him like half a dozen times this FIFA already. I think he's kind of my most packed player on top of Begovic. But for me, I'm thinking like 72, 73, maybe even, I can't see them going too much higher, because then it gets crazy rating wise, and it also then gets expensive and unrealistic to do. Then MLS is an option, but I don't necessarily think, because the league's finished, could they drop it? That's the question. If the league just finished, they might say, "Oh, we'll just drop it." It'd be logical, but it then beats the SBC theory. Like there's not been a marquee matchup from it, but still, like Chicago Fire, fairly straightforward. Schweinsteiger makes the team rating so much easier to do. It's just then a case of supplementing the team with bronze and silvers. People will boost up the prices regardless on the players, but quite a lot of the MLS teams do have a lot of players, unless they're holding out for I think the new team that's in the league, unless they're holding out for that team to come into the game for it to be released. So be aware of that. Then with Open as the last route, fairly straightforward in my opinion. Tons and tons of silvers. I've still got most of the team. I've got like a few players packed in the club as well, but Pro League, a lot of people are starting to think this might be the small league that could drop, which I can kind of understand. But for me personally, I'm thinking of the mindset that the leagues that I'm showing, 2 of them are going to drop. I honestly could not tell you precisely which 2 are going to drop, but I have the feeling people seem to think Calcio A and Pro League are the 2 to go for, but be fully aware that the SPFL I think could drop because of the 3 derbies next week all have a good shout of featuring, and it would then make it all the more interesting. But time will tell, of course, whether it be this Friday, next Friday, or the following Friday. So there's maybe 3 Fridays that they could drop. But hopefully you find this useful as always, guys. Let me know in the comments down below which 2 you're looking forward to. And also remember, check the SBC guide. That will cover all the potential players that could get a League SBC card. Smash the likes as always. Sub to the channel if you're new. Follow me on Twitter, SBC Callejon. All links are down below, guys. Take it easy all, and I will catch you all later.